Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome specifically to windy, rainy, sleety Munich. If you can hear the noise, that's the airport over there. But it's all good because I have the brand new Audi S8 next to me. Well, I say new, it's not really new. It's basically a facelifted version of the previous car. But that's not a bad thing because I said back in 2020 that the S8 was the best car in the world. And Audi are promising that its new version is even better with better looks, better performance, better technology, better everything. Let's see if it's true. Let's start by talking about the design, shall we? As the 747 starts to take off, over there, it's got a brand new front end, new front bumper, and a bigger, wider grille than before. And it's very upright as well, almost like blunt at the front, like an SUV. Lots of impact there, I like that. Plus, if you look closely, it's got these L-shaped lozenges here in a satin material, but you can also get that in black. It's also got very upright air vents at the side and a new set of headlights. The first thing I like about these lights is it's got this Audi logo just down here. That's quite a nice touch. Plus, there are 3 different types of headlight. There's LED, there's matrix LED, and there's digital matrix LED. Both of those last 2 are an upgrade. The digital matrix LEDs are very clever because they contain 1.3 million micro mirrors. So they project very precise beams of light, high resolution light on the road in front of you, and they can work out whether you're on a country road, a motorway, and light it accordingly without blinding other road users. Very fancy. I'll show you the rest in just a second, but let me just point out one thing I'm not a big fan of. The sensors scattered around the front of these cars. They're not very discreet, are they? It almost looks like old school light bulbs on the side there. You've got the big radar down there, and on the Audi logo, which is kind of hollow, on these 3 rings, you've got glossy black plastic, which looks all right, but the one on the right has a fairly cheap looking black material, which kind of ruins the effect, but there you go. On the side, not much has changed. It's still very much an S8, but you do get a new choice of wheels with 18s, 19s, 20s, and 21s. This has got 20s with the optional carbon ceramic brakes. I like this as well. It's got the soft closing doors, so you place it up against the door, and it just closes nicely. On the S8, you get this chrome material for the wing mirrors. Around the back, there's even more changes. Subtle, of course, but there are changes. It's got this chrome strap all the way across the rear. You've got a continuous LED light bar, quad exhaust, because this is the S8 with a lovely V8 engine. And for the first time ever, that I've seen anyway, OLED lights on the rear. First time I've seen digital lights front and rear on a car. I'm not sure why they're OLED, organic light emitting diode, the same technology you use on your fancy televisions, but here they are. Apparently, these will light up whenever another vehicle gets within 6 feet of your car. I don't know why it does that, but it's cool, I guess. Let's go for a drive. So what's it like inside the new Audi S8? Well, it's a lot like the old Audi S8, to be honest. If you jump in this, there's not a lot of difference between this car and the previous generation, which is good and bad. If you get into one of this car's major rivals, the Mercedes S-Class, then immediately you're going to be blown away by the sheer quantity of technology inside that thing. You've got this big tablet interface, you've got fingerprint recognition, you've got cameras that scan your face, you've got ambient lights that dance around and react to every single thing you do. And then you jump inside this S8 and it's all a bit sort of meh in a way. Wait, no, understated is maybe a better way of saying that. But yeah, it doesn't really blow you away. The cabin doesn't feel old though, it still feels quite fresh. There's a lot to like about it. I particularly like this carbon fiber effect, the suede, the leather. Audi doesn't do an animal-free version of their interior in the A8 and S8 quite yet, but it still looks quite nice. And I do love the little motorized touches. So you've got these motorized vents up on the dashboard and motorized Bang & Olufsen tweeters on the top of the dash as well. Those work really nicely. As for the main infotainment setup, it'll be familiar if you've ever sat in any Audi. It's got 2 screens, one for your main infotainment and one for your climate control. And those 2 screens work independently of each other or together. For example, if you're entering a destination into the sat-nav, the lower screen will turn into a virtual touchpad for you to scroll your address using your fingers. And it does work pretty effectively. You've also got the Audi virtual cockpit, which I'm sure you'll already know about. It's a screen up here on the instrument binnacle which shows your map, your speed, and all your relevant driving data. Plus, for this new car, Audi have introduced, of course, a voice assistant, because it's 2022 and you gotta have a voice assistant. So, hey Audi, I'm cold.
What temperature should I set for you?
27 degrees.
I'll increase the temperature to 27 degrees.
Ooh, very obliging.
Adaptive air suspension comes as standard on the A8, which means the dampers can either be soft or firm depending on which driving mode you're in. But if you buy the S8, you get predictive air suspension, which goes a step further. This uses cameras to scan the road ahead and can load or unload each wheel individually using electric motors. If it senses you're going around a corner, it can lean into that corner like a motorbike. If you brake hard, it can push the nose up to keep the car flat. If you accelerate hard, it pushes up the back to do the same. And this is the really clever bit. It can jump over speed bumps. The body stays completely level, but the wheels go up and down over the bumps, so the ride is perfectly smooth. It's a nice touch and it works well, but there's another cool aspect to this suspension that I want to show you.
Check this out. This is extremely clever. When you approach your vehicle, it will automatically raise the height of the suspension to make it easier for you to get in. So if I open the door, look at that, it just pops up. So I don't have to lower myself quite as far to sit in the seat. And if I then leave the vehicle and lock it, it should lower again, a little bit slowly, but how cool is that? Good for my arthritis, I think.
Also good for arthritis is the comfortable cabin. The A8 and S8 are available in short or long wheelbase forms, taking the length from 17 feet to 17.5 feet. That's 5,320 millimeters in total if you prefer metric. The short wheelbase cars offer decent but not mind-blowing legroom, as you can see here, with good headroom. If you're a chauffeur or you just like stretching out, you'll be better off with a long wheelbase and be particularly pleased with the way the front passenger seat folds down and deploys a footrest. Both versions have the option of a new rear seat entertainment system at a cost of £4,000, which includes two 10.1-inch HD displays. Another tablet, located between the rear seats, allows you to control the infotainment, blinds, and even the position of the seats in front of you. So it's nice for passengers, but it's also fabulous for the driver.
One of the things that really strikes you when you drive an S8 is how comfortable it is. If you knock the drive select into Comfort Plus, everything just slackens off and it just feels like you're driving in Greece. Not the country, in like lard or something, or butter. It just feels really plush. It's lovely. You've also got acoustic glass, double glazing, which means that you can't hear anything at all. Maybe the odd bit of wind noise, but road noise is almost completely absent. It's such a silent, serene cabin. It's also very easy to drive around town because you've got all-wheel steering. This isn't quite as extreme as the all-wheel steering in the Mercedes S-Class, where you can see the rear wheels do dramatic movements in comparison to the front wheels, but it does still contribute to making this car feel a lot more nimble, especially around town.
The A8 has 4 engine options available: a 50 TDI diesel, a 55 TFSI petrol, and a 60 TFSI E plug-in hybrid. That last one produces 462 horsepower and is good for 0 to 62 in 4.9 seconds. It will even run on its 17.9 kilowatt-hour battery pack for around 30 miles, or work with the petrol motor to get a claimed 156 miles per gallon if you're able to top the battery up, of course.
The S8 is obviously the top dog when it comes to engines. This one uses a 4-litre turbocharged V8, which knocks out 571 horsepower and 800 newton meters of torque. It'll do 0 to 62 in 3.8 seconds. So it's quicker than a lot of sports cars. And it actually sounds better than a lot of sports cars as well. I love that rumble of the V8. It sounds tremendous, honestly. And also you've got this 8-speed Tiptronic gearbox, which around town is nice and smooth, but when you take manual control of it, it's so responsive. And when you change gears, you actually get a little kick just to reinforce that the gears have actually changed, just to make it feel that little bit more engaging. As for handling, well, it's a big old barge, this thing, and understeer is something you've got to keep an eye on. So it's a good idea to go into the corners fairly slowly before you get on the power and catapult yourself out of the exit. You've got quattro permanent all-wheel drive, so traction is never an issue in this car. And the handling's really nice. It stays nice and flat through the corners, and it's actually reasonably rewarding. A little bit of understeer there, but you know, we can deal with that, and away we go. Obviously, I did say the previous generation S8 was the best car in the world. Yep, I said it, deal with it. So, is this new S8 still the best car in the world? You know what? It's very good, very, very good in fact, but I still think the S-Class might have the edge, especially when it comes to technology. That thing is just on a whole different level, but that's not to say the S8 isn't exceptional. I love the way this car drives. It's buttery smooth, it's quiet, and when you want to have fun, that engine is still so rewarding. Ultimately, I think the S-Class does have the edge over this, but that's not to say this isn't a brilliant piece of kit.